All right, y'all. The live is gonna start in about 5 minutes. Give me 5 minutes to get my infographics together. 5 minutes. All right, y'all. So let's get this going. I promise I won't keep y'all too long. But we are going to talk about Raw, what I saw. I didn't get to see the full beginning of Raw. So we're going to talk about that. And then we will talk about Genesis, TNA Genesis, and everything about that. So, first things first, I must pay the bills. So, shout out to everybody who came in here early. I know y'all was waiting on me to get started, but I had to get some things together first, like plugging up my computer before it die while I'm on live, child. But anyways, Brandy was in here first. Kayla came in before I even went live, so I can't give it to you, Kayla, for top commenter of the day. Brandy was numero uno. So shout out to Brandy for being in here number one. Now I can give it to Kayla, and then Louis rounds out the top three. I usually give out five, but today it seems is a slow day and everybody's not coming in, and that's fine by me. I just talk to those who want to hear my voice. For those of you who have missed it, okay, the first hour of Lita's book is up for my members. I am about to release that for the subscribers for y'all to listen to that podcast overview of the book club for Wrestling Book Club. We talked about Lita's book. I did do that first hour. I'm getting ready to put out the second hour of her book. So wait on it. It is coming. And the first hour is going to be released tomorrow at about 12. Everybody will be able to listen to it. And y'all can put y'all thoughts on it in the comment section, all that good stuff. Okay. So let's talk about Monday Night Raw. Let us talk about it. JBL was on commentary. It seemed like JBL was only on commentary for one match, which was like New Day's match, or Kofi Kingston, more specifically, his match with Rey Mysterio, which I'll get to that in a second. I liked hearing JBL on commentary again. I thought it was so much fun. So shout out to JBL. He also showed up in TNA Genesis, stopping Frankie Kazarian from cashing in his shoot call your shot moment when Nick Nemeth and what's his name? Joe Hendry were having their match, which I'll get to that in a minute. So, like I mentioned before, the New Day came out there. I don't know what was said. I know prior to this that Gunther and Jey Uso had an exchange, and because I didn't get to see that, I can't comment on that. I have no idea what was talked about, what was alluded to. I'm sure it had a lot to do with their match coming this Saturday at Saturday Night Main Event. And then I know from what I heard, they came to blows. That's all I got on that. I don't really have an opinion one way or another. I hope Jey Uso gets the win. If he doesn't, I'm not going to be mad about it. I mean, this is a big moment for him to be able to have an actual title match against a really formidable opponent like Gunther. This is not an easy feat. You know what I'm saying? This is going to be very, very difficult for Jey Uso. Gunther has never been an easy person to wrestle or beat for that matter. I mean, you ask Sami Zayn and he knows. So Jey Uso definitely has a challenge coming his way. With all that being said, there are a couple of matches that have been set for Saturday Night Main Event, and we'll get into that in a second. But Kofi Kingston ended up facing off against Rey Mysterio. Now, I saw the end of that match, like the tail end of that match. It's a pretty good match. But Rey ended up beating Kofi in that match. So Kofi and Xavier both attacked Rey. This led to Joaquin and Raul coming out there, or Del Toro is like he's called himself. They came out there. Kofi and Xavier ran, but then came back and attacked Joaquin. And that left Del Toro just standing there. It was just an odd exchange for them. And I just was like, what the fuck are y'all doing? Like, I want when I see a heel, right? I want my heels to be unlikable, obviously, and they've achieved that. But I need them to be dastardly. Like Drew McIntyre is a very good example of that. But I don't need New Day to be Drew McIntyre. I need the New Day to be New Day, but an evil version of them. This version of them just seems, it's very corny and I don't like it. I'm not a fan and I want them to be better because I know that they can be better. And I feel like they might have a little bit more wiggle room to do better and they just haven't figured out how to do that yet. So I'm going to hold off on giving them too much smoke, but they're always going to get, the same smoke that any other heel would get from me. I'm going to give it to them too. It's no big deal. But let's move on. Nia Jax ended up showing up to Monday Night Raw again. I'm not quite sure as to, thank you, why she keeps showing up.
Just trying to make it interesting.
Oh, they are they?
Yeah, Notre Dame just scored. It's
even.
It's one score game. They down 8.
Okay. So Nia attacked Rhea Ripley at the beginning of the show. And this left Rhea Ripley, low-key messed up. Bayley has been put through the transfer portal, and she is now officially a part of the Raw roster. Now, we learned last week that the Wyatt Six are no longer a part of the Raw roster. They're on SmackDown. They haven't debuted yet, though. It's going to be very interesting to see how they implement them into the SmackDown roster. But Bayley and Nia have a history. And because Nia obviously wanted to have a little fight. Adam Pearce made a match between Nia. Look how they imposed her face on that black girl's face. Ain't that crazy? The original picture is it's the little black girl that they had. They photoshopped her face on there. Mm-hmm. That ain't right. Anyways, Nia and Bayley had a history and they decided to let them have a match tonight, which they did. Right, they seem to be building up Roxanne and Bailey's potential feud on the show. Roxanne was ringside once again, sitting there watching, and she basically said Raw has acquired a loser. And I'm like, girl, you just lost your match to Julia at the last pay per view. You're a loser too, babe. You're a loser too, babe. Okay? Let's not act as if you are absolved from being a loser. You're a loser too. Okay? I'm so glad we had this talk. Anyway, Nia and Bailey had a really good match. I'm gonna be honest with you, this was my favorite match of the night. They really did a good job in this match. Both women competed really well. Can you turn the fan off? What are you doing, babe? You're making a lot of noise.
I'm sure you're gonna do something like that.
Did you get all the candy you wanted in your little bag?
That was best.
Okay. So, Bailey and Nia really put on a really good match. This was after her interaction with Roxanne. Nia ended up picking up the win, unfortunately for Bailey. I hate that for her because Bailey did a really good job and I really wanted to see her shine. But her winning, her being able to have this really cool match with Nia was a really good moment for Bailey. And it really shows how Bailey can pretty much work with anybody, which we already knew that. But I'm just saying, it just shows how well Bailey works. Now, Nia, like I said, she attacked um Rhea Ripley at the beginning of the show, even when Ripley was walking in. She got brutally attacked. So because of that, um Rhea came out there after their match, not during it. She came out after, beat the brakes off of Nia. They was out there coming to blows, honey. And as soon as they got ready to split them apart, and she was getting ready to like just leave, child, Rhea grabbed that microphone and she said, "You and me, Saturday night main event." So the match is gonna be set. It's gonna be Rhea Ripley versus Nia Jax. I don't know why Nia is on Raw making a mess of Raw and going over there messing with Rhea when you literally got the woman who stole your title from you staring you in the face every Friday and you ain't did nothing. You ain't went to go kick her ass. You didn't go in there and try to take her out. You didn't fight her. You was too busy worrying about Bianca, Naomi, and Bailey. You ain't did nothing. For somebody who just got their title stolen from them, you show acting real calm, cool, and collected. I don't like it. Because I would be going at Tiffany Stratton's ass right now. Okay? But that's just me. Now, there was a match between PFC and Damage Control. Damage Control beat PFC. Not gonna lie, Zoe and Shayna did pretty well in this match. I mean, damn, I done lost all my people. Zoe and them did pretty well in this match, but the show must go on, babes. They lost the match, and it was obvious they was gonna lose. They always losing. It's the best way to put it. They are always losing. Penta had a match with I forgot. I put the wrong graphic up. Penta had a match with Pete Dunne today. That match was actually really good as well. Like it was really good, solid matches on Monday Night Raw today. I was pleasantly surprised with the quality of the matches that we saw. Um I really like this match. Penta did what Penta always does. He showed up and showed out. So I was having a good time watching Penta. Penta did win over Pete. It was not an easy win. And one thing I do like about Penta's booking is that he is not booked to squash his opponents. They are fully competing with him and against him. And the way that it operates in terms of how the match card is set up, it's really, really fun to watch his matches because they just are being extremely they are extremely good matches. And Pena doesn't look like he's going to overly dominate. He doesn't look like that. The matches are very equal. Everybody seems to be on the same playing field. And you got to love it, man. You got to love it. It's a good setup for Pena. I was appreciative of what we saw. Sami Zayn came out there and declared that he is going to be a part of the Royal Rumble. And Kevin Owens showed up. Oh my God. Y'all be watching Ohio State. Okay, so pardon me if I stop and I'm watching it. Ohio State is going for this championship, and I really want my babies to win. But, anyways, so Kevin came out there, and to our surprise, Kevin didn't beat the hell out of Sammy. He essentially leaned in on Sammy and was just like, I know the kind of man you are. You are different from Cody. You and Roman had a rapport. There was some real love there between you and Roman. So I understand why you helped him. Because you did the same for me. You forgave me just like you forgave Roman. But he says, you're my best friend. And then he goes, I got your back. I know you're going to win. I know you're more than capable of winning. I know that you're going to win in the Royal Rumble. And then he says, I got your back winning the Rumble just like you got my back. And then he just walks out. Full on master manipulation. And everybody knows that he is obviously highly upset with Sammy. And to be fair, like devil's advocate, right? Shout out to Nicole because she always says it. Devil's advocate in Sammy's case, I can understand Kevin being mad at at Sammy. I also can understand him being mad at Cody. My only issue with Kevin in this whole situation, the way he's gone about it, was he did not allow his friend to talk to him and tell him what he was trying to do. He just immediately assumed that Cody had betrayed him. And that's what I didn't like. If y'all were really friends, then you would have been able to hear your friend out. You feel what I'm saying? You wouldn't have went to the full on, oh, he's a goddamn demon. Like, because everybody could immediately say the same thing about you, especially given your track record. Cody don't have the track record of stabbing all his friends in the back and being a fucking monster to anybody and everybody just so they can be champion. That's not Cody's story. That's yours. So my thing was, because you are in a position where you felt hurt, instead of you knowing how to express yourself and be like, hey, I did not like the fact that you teamed up with Roman Reigns. You could have did exactly what what's his name? Randy did when Randy saw that he was teaming up with him. He was like, listen, you're gonna have to explain this shit to me because you know exactly how this man has been these last 4 years. You've been here for at least one of them. So your ass know what the hell going on. So I don't know what you're doing, and you gonna have to come explain yourself, right? God damn it now. You didn't do that. You cowered and you ran like a little child because you don't know how to express yourself. Now we in this predicament where you are taking all of your anger and frustration out on Cody. And I don't think it has anything to do with him teaming with Roman, but it has everything to do with him being the guy to take Roman down. That's where we are. The difference between Cody and Sammy, though, is that Sammy had real rapport with Roman. So it makes perfect sense that he went back to a place where he was already at one point. That makes sense. And Kevin said he understood and he got it. Okay. This is all a ploy because Sammy is I hate to say it, but sometimes Sammy is very gullible. He's very malleable. He sometimes can be goaded and shifted into positions where he ends up having to fight for his life, defend himself, and even sometimes to defend his character. And that's exactly what happened today at the end of Monday Night Raw, but I'm gonna get there in a second. Kayla said basically Jay was talking about being possibly champion, and Gunther interrupted, called him a dork and mascot because he's always helping the bloodline. And Jay countered that by saying that that he main evented Mania, which is something that Gunther has never done, which pissed him off, and then they started brawling. I mean, fair. He hasn't main evented Mania. I like Gunther. True enough, I do. My biggest issue with Gunther is that Gunther doesn't have enough character to be the guy to carry the brand, and more specifically to carry the show. Gunther just doesn't have that bravado. Gunther is a brawler at heart, and he will give you a 1-2 punch in a promo, but he doesn't really have much else to him. He's kind of a one trick pony. There was a glimpse of something else being seen when he was going up against Damian Priest, but we didn't get to finish seeing that because that was kind of thwarted. And I really wish they would have dove deeper into that, because there could have been a situation where Gunther was like, losing. He obviously was losing his confidence in himself. And we get to see more and more and more of that, because I really enjoy, not I enjoy his downfall, but more specifically, I enjoy watching a character fall, but then they get their rise again. And that's something that I do like. Now, this last match on the show was Drew versus Seth. They did talk to CM Punk, by the way. CM Punk was cutting motherfuckers down. Like, he was like, I just beat Seth. Drew McIntyre, I damn near murdered. Sammy, I ain't got no issues with Sammy, but he in my way, so he gotta go. He was like, John Cena, I can't see him winning. And he was like, if Hulk Hogan bring his dusty ass back, I'll take his ass out and put him over the damn and put him over it too, child. I said, oh, okay. I'm like, damn, everybody dusty, old, they tired, everything else, baby. I said, all right then. Now, Drew and Seth had a real nice match to close out the show. It was a pretty decent match. We had two women's matches today, Nia Jackson, Bailey, and then we had Damage Control facing off against PFC. Two women's matches. Love that for us. Anyways, this was the closer. Drew ended up losing. Seth ended up winning. And at the end of the show, Seth was getting taken out by Drew. He was mad. Drew tried to damn near end his career, but Sammy came out there with the save. And as he took out Sammy and got back in the ring, he went after Seth and basically was like, "You and I were supposed to be on the same side. We were supposed to be friends. You and I should be having the same conversations, but you don't listen. You need to see this my way." He's kind of yelling at him. And that's when Sammy's running in with the haluva kick, and he accidentally kicks Seth in the face because Drew moves. And when Drew leaves the ring, he has this sinister grin on his face. And of course, Seth is looking at Sammy like, dude, you just kicked me in my face. It was an accident. Even if you watch it in the playback, you can clearly see he was not trying to take out Seth. But every time somebody does this, I always wonder, like, do you assess the risk factor? Because you know that he's in the corner. Inadvertently, Drew McIntyre would have hit Seth and taken Seth out by your reconnaissance. So I'm just like, ugh. Either way, he would have been fucked, bro. Either way. Either way. And for the most part, that was the show. It went by pretty quickly from what I was when I was watching it. Went off at about 10:39. So we're not staying for the full 3 hours, and I love that for us. You know, I really do. So let's get into TNA Genesis. For those of you who come over here for WWE stuff, I know I appreciate y'all. I love y'all. And I promise we gonna make Genesis. Genesis was a good PLE. So if you haven't seen it, I highly recommend that you watch it. But more specifically, there were some key things that happened at Genesis that I want to talk about. And I want to make sure everybody understands that we're talking about TNA. So if you're not a TNA fan, it's okay for you to bounce. I'll see you guys Wednesday when we talk about NXT. All right. Okay. So I'm missing one. Hold on. Did I get all of them? I think I did. Oh, before we get out of here, Saturday night main event is going to be this Saturday on the 25th. You've got Jey Uso facing off against Gunther. You have Sheamus facing off against Braun Breaker. Nia Jax will face off against Rhea Ripley. And Braun Strowman will face off against Jacob Fatu. That is the lineup for Saturday night main event. Those are the 5 matches for the card for now. So, Genesis came and went this weekend, and the very first match was on the countdown. This was actually the very first match on the countdown was Ashanti the Adonis coming out there and issuing a open challenge. The open challenge was answered by Jake Something. Jake Something defeated Ashanti the Adonis. You're going to hear a lot of NXT references on this particular review recap because there were a lot of NXT pop-ups, okay? Now, Leon Slater faced off against Frankie Kazarian, and Frankie Kazarian defeated Leon Slater. I mean, I'm not the biggest fan of Frankie Kazarian's character at the moment, but he did beat him, so whatever makes you happy. We're going to get to it. We're going to get to it. Hold on. Here we go. Ace Austin went up against Moose, and unfortunately, Moose has retained his X Division championship. I'm not a fan of Moose. Never have been. Not going to explain it. Don't care about what you're talking about. I don't like the man. It is what it is. So we're moving on. Next match, the System went up against Eric Young and Steve Macklin. Steve Macklin and Eric Young defeated the System. All right, which I love Steve Macklin. I feel like Steve Macklin is so underrated. I really, really like him, and I want him to succeed. I do. The tag team titles, Knockouts World Tag Team Championships were on the line. Spitfire was facing off against Ash and Heather by Elegance. Spitfire retained their tag team championships. Okay. I ain't gonna make it keep it long, baby. I'm just gonna tell you straight up. Okay. The next match is gonna be a interesting one, is the best way to explain it. Blanchard went up against Jordan Grace. This was Jordan Grace's final match in TNA. And baby, Jordan Grace had her some good old bangs, honey. Jordan Grace was out here living her best life. She looked beautiful at TNA Genesis. I liked Jordan Grace's entire look. The bangs really looked good on her. I'm not gonna lie. I love a good bang when it sit on the face and frames it correctly. Her bangs were cut correctly. She looked good. And I was like, okay, Jordan, get out there and get you a piece. Now, Tessa Blanchard ended up winning this match, but the good thing about this is that Tessa Blanchard was booed out the motherfucking rafters, bitch. And this was not regular heel heat. This kind of heat was them calling her a racist during her entire match, love. Calling her a racist, bitch. And when I say they was yelling, you're a racist, they were yelling, you're a racist. You're a racist. She's a racist. She's a screaming it. Loved it. Loved every minute of it. I was like, get her together. Get her together. Ohio State are the national champions. Yes, sir. Let's go. Oh, you're going nowhere. Yeah. Oh my God, I'm so happy. I can fucking cry. Oh, I'm so happy for them. I'm so happy for them. Oh, I'm so proud of them.
Ohio State one day.
I'm so proud of them.
Y'all have Ohio sports.
Right. It's a good, very good day. Now Tessa cut a promo backstage, but I don't give a damn. She said something about a hole being left when she left, but girl, that was only because you did that to yourself. All right, thank you. Thank you for coming. We don't need you anymore. Bye. Bye. Now where we at? This was the best match on the card next to Hendry and Nemeth's match. So
Hmm. Spinning. Won the national championship in 2014 when they first introduced the 14 playoff. Then we win the championship again when they introduced 12-team playoff.
period. We set the tone, baby. Anyways, Josh Alexander and Mike Santana had an I Quit match. Mike Santana won. And at the end of the match, Josh Alexander not only quit, but he quit TNA as well. He did shake Mike's hand, told him he was the guy now, that he was the new face of TNA. But he was not only quitting, he was quitting TNA too. And he walked out. Now, Santino Marella has deemed that he has to show up this Thursday in TNA to address the TNA audience and everyone. So I assume Josh Alexander will make his goodbyes then. But who knows where Josh will end up? His champion, his title. I mean, his contract is not up until like February, March. So there's no guarantee that he'll be in WWE. But I would love to see him in WWE. I am so happy that they won. I am so happy. I'm so proud of them. So we're gonna move on. We got a few more matches, and then I promise I'll be out of your hair. All right, the TNA Tag Team Championships. The Hardys face off against the Rascals. This is where we saw Fraxium show up. Fraxium showed up, caused a little bit of a chaos on the sidelines. This is now leading to a match that's going to happen on NXT. I mean, on over on TNA this Thursday. That match is happening. They're going to have the NXT championships um on the line against the Rascals. Okay. They did lose to Matt Hardy and Jeff Hardy. The Hardys retain their championship if you care. I do not care. Be honest with you, I really don't. Um, Rosemary had a Clockwork Orange match with Masha Slamovich, and this is kind of like it falls anywhere style match, but Rosemary had a Clockwork Orange House of Fun match. This is Raven's baby. Rosemary did lose this match to Masha, and after the match was over, we saw Cora Jade come out and confront Masha Slamovich. So we make it something with Masha and Cora Jade, which is very, very interesting. And then last but not least, the pièce resistance. We had Nick Nemeth, TNA World Champion versus Joe Hendry, the challenger. And I'll be damned if TNA did not give that title to Joe Hendry. Nick Nemeth dropped that title to Joe Hendry, and Joe Hendry is now your TNA World Champion. And I am so happy for Joe Hendry. Joe Hendry worked so hard to get himself to the top. He has been one of the core reasons why a lot of people have started watching TNA again. He's funny, he's quirky, and he really can wrestle. He is very good at what he does. I'm very, very proud of Joe Hendry and everything he's been able to accomplish. His music is good, it's funny, and it's quirky. But I like it. He can wrestle. He can cut a good promo. He's just one of those guys. And you got to love that. All right. So, everybody, TNA Genesis has some amazing gems. If you haven't watched it, please go over and watch it. You can go to TNA and watch it over on their paid services. It's totally up to you. But there are a few things you need to know. PCO destroyed the Digital Media Championship at, I believe it was GCW's event in New York City. This was caught on camera, so people saw him destroy this title. He doesn't have a deal with TNA anymore, but him destroying this belt is probably going to end up landing him in a bunch of trouble. Like I said, Josh Alexander's contract isn't up quite yet, but he is leaving TNA. And Jordan Grace is gone. She is done. They gave her a proper send off. They even gave her a belt like she was the honorary, always going to be the TNA Knockouts champion. Love that for Jordan. She's earned that. Jordan has poured her blood, sweat, and tears into that knockouts division. And they actually gave Naomi a lot of credit for hyping up that crossover or this partnership with WWE and NXT. And they said it was because of Naomi's presence in TNA and how everything has been going with that prior to that new partnership being set up and everything in between, that they were able to do this. So Naomi was a big proponent as to why and how they were able to set up this partnership and how Jordan Grace could have gotten to WWE. This is all thanks to the match she's had, and of course the encouraging words and just Naomi doing what she always does. So shout out to you, Naomi, for everything you do, girl, because you don't get the credit you deserve, but you should. Yes, should. Okay. Oh, okay. And ladies and gents, that's it. That's all. That's all I got for y'all. We ain't got nothing else going. I promise y'all by Wednesday, the second half of the leader book will be up and ready to go for the members. And then I'll have the book second half out for the subscribers for y'all to listen to podcast style. Wednesday, we're going to be playing games on Wednesday. If anything serious happens, we'll go over Saturday night main events match card, and we'll talk about NXT's show this coming Tuesday. All right. So you guys make sure you rate, comment, and subscribe. Make sure you follow my channel. Always check out my socials. I still have my TikTok, but I am not allowed to have access to it because as soon as TikTok got banned, I deleted the app off my phone and it is no longer a part of the App Store as far as I know. I do not use TikTok and I don't plan on using it anytime soon. So if you guys want to follow my videos, commentary, and everything alike, it's always going to be on Instagram. I'm going to focus specifically on Instagram these next couple of years, especially this year. That's going to be my bread and butter. YouTube is where I'm going to do my longer form videos where I talk about things. We talk about character evolutions. I'm going to be doing all of that over here. So make sure you stay tuned. Subscribe if you're listening to me and you ain't subscribed. Subscribe, you jackass. Okay? Stop coming over here listening to me and not subscribing. It's free. You're rude. Subscribe, okay? And I will see y'all Wednesday. We're gonna play some games on Wednesday. We're gonna talk about NXT Saturday night main event match card. We're gonna talk about Royal Rumble, who we think is gonna be in the women's Royal Rumble because they've only announced a few people and they haven't really announced the women's Royal Rumble, which leads me to some speculation of the women's Royal Rumble very much being a surprise rumble with a lot of surprises in it. It's gonna be a good time. Either way, love that. So you guys rate, comment, and subscribe. Go listen to my book club book review of Lita's book. Okay. And I will see you guys in my next one. Bye. And go check out my merch. The merch shop is always in the video. Go do that. And go shop. Okay. Support me.
If you don't want to see me, if you don't want to see me, did a full 180, crazy, thinking about the way I was. Did the heartbreak change me? Maybe, but look at where I ended up. I'm all good already, so